Good evening, folks, and welcome. This is another. This is just a quick update on the alignment of the NAD stereo amplifier 3140. Right. Basically, I will add a link to the website I downloaded the manual from. But the procedure is very simple. I'll actually read the procedure out and then I'll show you at the end of it where all the adjustments are. Basically, switch the amplifier on. But basically for the DC offset current, DC offset alignment, basically what they want you to do is turn the power on for 5 minutes, and that applies everywhere. Switch it on for 5 minutes. And adjust the volume control to minimum and speaker selector to A and B position. For left channel alignment, connect the probe of the DC millivoltmeter, sorry, to the left channel speaker terminals. Then adjust VR601 until zero voltage reading is reached. And for this, you do exactly the same on the right channel, except for the right channel you adjust 602, and that's the procedure for setting the offset to make sure. Well, I haven't had to do that because, as we know from last night when I did the voltage checks to check for AC on check for DC on the speakers, there was no DC, it was zero, so I don't have to mess with that. So I haven't. The next one is idle current alignment. Basically, turn it on for 5 minutes so it can get to operating temperature. And well, before you do that, turn VR603, looks like 5 on here, but it's not. VR603 and VR604 to fully clockwise position. Set the power, obviously switch the thing on, switch the amp on for 5 minutes. Leave it idle for 5 minutes. Set volume control to minimum and speaker selector switch to A and B, which they've got it marked as A plus B position. Remove the load on the speaker terminals. Connect one probe of the DC multimeter to to left channel speaker terminal, and the other to point TP1 on the main PCB. Adjust VR603 until 6 millivolts is reached. Until 6 millivolts is reached, and the procedure for the adjustment of the right channel is exactly the same. The only difference is you're adjusting VR604 and you're connecting to TP2. Now what I'll do, I'll zoom in and I'll show you. There's the power indicator alignment. You shouldn't have to do that, but you never know, do you? You never know. Set the controls for flat position and the volume control to maximum. Set the function selector to auxiliary and to aux position, and speaker switch to A and B position. Connect probes of basically connect the probes of your meter to speaker output terminals, feed in a sine wave generator, feed from a sine wave generator, a 1 kilohertz signal to the auxiliary port input for both channels, vary the generator output level until the voltmeter is a reading of 20 volts AC. So you want the meter on AC on this one, and you need it to be reading 20 volts AC. Adjust VR201 and VR202 to the position just before lighting the 50 watt LED for left and right channel respectively. Now I'll show you where all the controls are. Well, what I'll do, I'll zoom in and you should be able to see them. Just take these goddamn glasses off. There we go. I'll probably need them back on again in a minute. There we go. Can we go a bit further? Right, there we are, folks. Look at that. Do you know something? They're all your adjustments. I'm trying to put it somewhere where I can. There you go. They're all your adjustments. And what I'll do, I'll try and move the paper over a bit so we can read, so you can see. There we go. You can pause the video, you see. That's the idle current, we want the one above it, there we go. See, there you go. Anybody can read that. Or at least I can on this fucking big screen. Now, let's come up a bit and there we go. There we go. Shut up, Scraps. And if you want to put, if you want to, I'll show you where they are actually on the main board within the amplifier as well. Let's put my glasses on. I'll need them for this. If I can, I'll do my best. Now, let's get in position. Because that's the back of the amp. We want to see the front. There we go. Right, you can see one of the fuckers. Let's zoom out a bit. Oops. Might not be able to fucking get them to see them all. See fucking one of them there. Let's just have a look. One here. Right. Right, we've got, for fuck's sake. This is a pain in the arse doing this. But there again, we have to try and do these things. Right, so we've got that one there. I can't see the other fucker. Oh, there it is. It's fucking right up there. Zoom out a bit Too close in, that's what it is. Right. You've got this one here. It's fucking buried under them wires. That's why I couldn't fucking see it. It's buried, it's between this resistor and this control. Let's just tell you which ones are those. Well, they'll be, what do you call it, won't they? 603. Yeah, 603, 601, 602, 604. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Anyway, what I'll do, you've seen I've put it up on these funny switches here. I weren't sure what they were. These. There's one. Oh, I'm looking at. There we are. There's one on each channel, and they're actually breakers, actually circuit breakers. Basically, they're a primitive relay. I'll tell you what, I'd hate to have to fucking replace them. Where the fuck would you find them? You'd have to work some out, wouldn't you? If they ever failed. But luckily these haven't, so that's all good. That's all good. And I've been over this because remember we got a bit of distortion on it last night, and I don't know where that came from. The only thing I can assume is that I plugged it in before it could get to room temperature, and I plugged it in before it could get to room temperature, and I think that was what was causing the problem. Because, in all honesty, I've run it today. It's been soak tested. It's not on at the moment. It will be in a minute. It's been soak tested, and I haven't done anything to it, and I've tapped around with a screwdriver and shit like that, and I've not done anything with it apart from check the alignment, and it's all spot on. I mean, this heatsink struggles to get warm, and it puts out a lot of power, and that's at 4 ohms. This is rated at 8 ohms. Yeah, I'm using 4 ohm speakers, and it's managing it no problem whatsoever. Now if I plug the plug in, there we go, and we've got the iPhone here with some music on. I can only give you a couple of seconds because it's not YouTube approved music. But what we'll do, we'll turn the volume down to begin with. We'll leave there, turn it on, push it back a bit so I see what I'm doing. Give it a second. There we go. That's the contacts coming in. Here, go through the speaker. There we go. That's both channels on. Don't cry on my shoulder. That's left. That's right. Put down volume. Loudness, low level, everything on this works. It all works well. And it is lovely and clear. Oh, for fuck's sake. Don't worry about that hum you just heard. That was on the original recording. If I pause it, nothing. Right channel, left channel.
That's why I'm breaking away. I'm not trying to run, I'm trying to hide. What can I win if I'm losing my pride? Won't let tomorrow be like today.
And there's no noise. There's a bit of noise on the phono input. No noise on the tuner. Let's go to the cassettes. No noise there. No noise there. No noise on the auxiliary. No noise on the tuner. A bit of noise on the phono, and there's quite a bit of noise on that one. But it does say in the operating instructions that it shuts up when you plug a deck into it. It shuts up. So I'll have to test that. I mean, yeah. So I'll have to test that, and I'll have to test that and find out. I'm not testing that today. Next time I've got a record deck in that has a magnetic pickup, I'll test it then. And so that could be next year when my Zero comes in for its annual service. But I've got the manual for it, so yeah. Out there. That's auxiliary, obviously, because the source has gone off, so now we're getting a hum. So now if I turn that back on, turn it back off. There you are, you see. That hum's not caused through the amplifier.
Why should I care? I've always been the kind of man who doesn't believe. I'm a charger.
So yeah, I'm not really too fussed. That's as much as I'm gonna play. I'm not really too fussed about recapping this amplifier. I'm not recapping. It doesn't need recapping. Recapping's overrated and only ever done by audiophiles. You know, in the same way people who live in the country, you know, they go harumph. You know, it's the same thing. Audiophiles recap things that don't need recapping, or pay £500 for a power lead. You know, but no, I'm not going to turn it off now. I'm not going to recap it because it doesn't need recapping. Not in my opinion, it doesn't. And I'm not going to sell it, so it doesn't matter because I'm going to keep it. But that heatsink ain't even warm. You know, Because there's a couple of resistors down here on either side that are a bit warm. But then again, there's a power supply over here because there's 2 transformers. This one here, oh, they're lovely and cold. This one here feeds this power supply here because you've got your smoothers or filters, if you like, and you've got a bridge recce here, and this one feeds here because you've got your 4 capacitors here, and you've got your bridge recce under there buried. It took me a while to find it, but I knew it had to be under there somewhere. But what I'm going to do for now, folks, I'm going to put this back together. I'm going to give it a polish up, treat the side here where it's got a bit discoloured, do something with that. I'm going to unplug my phone in case it rings. Basically, I'm going to put this together, and I'm going to call it done. And like I say, I'm not worried. I mean, I got that bit of distortion last night, but I think that could have been caused by the fact that I just brought it, you know, it was picked up from my friends a couple of weeks ago by another friend, and it spent about a fortnight on the back seat of his car. And he rang me last night to tell me that he was popping it round and to meet him outside. So it's gone from like a cold place to, well, people say it's cold in here because I'm too cheap to pay for the heat. Anyway, I don't mind sitting in here. I don't feel the cold, and if I do, I'll put my dressing gown on. For me to spend money on heating, it has to be, for me to give the gas board any more money than I absolutely have to, there has to be ice forming on the inside of the windows. Anyway, not that I'm stingy, I just don't like parting with nothing. Anyway, it could have been that could have been a moisture issue. I should have really left it till today before plugging it in, but I'm impatient sometimes, and you know, as it was believed to be down on one channel, it was, you know, I reread the message I got off my mate, and he said he only thought it was down on one channel. So given that he thought, he wasn't certain. It could have been down on both, could have been down on none. There we go. But anyway, I sent him a message thanking him for it and telling him that actually he wasn't down at all. It was actually working quite well. It's been soak tested all day. This has been on all day, connected to my phone, playing music, and it hasn't faltered at all. It's not missed a beat. And I've moved it about, tapped it with the screwdriver here and there, you know, and so I like done shit like that, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, it's not missed a beat. It's performed perfectly as you would expect a British product like NAD to perform, because they are British, these. And given that I didn't have to actually adjust any of the voltages because they were all spot on. Is a testament. I checked them, but I didn't have to. None of these potentiometers were adjusted. I didn't have to adjust anything. It was all spot on, and oh shite! What the fuck have I knocked over? The fuck have I knocked over? I've just moved my chair and knocked something over. Oh shit. Anyway, but you know, that's it. It's basically going to be put back together, and I'll find a use for it. But I'm definitely not going to sell it because it was given to me, and you know, the person I got it off could have done that. And I mean, these fetch half decent money on eBay, not working. You know, people buy them. I mean, I wouldn't myself, but people do. You know, but yeah, I think they're, you know, I think they're a brilliant amplifier. I had a NAD years ago, and I was sorry I sold it. Well, it wasn't one of these. It was I can't remember what model it was. I'm not even going to say because I can't remember. But I got it off a friend who's passed away now. It wasn't a gift. I did him a deal. And I got the cassette deck and the tuner with it, And do you know what the bitter pill was to swallow? He got he got it out of a charity shop, and he got it from a charity shop, and he paid 24 quid. Honestly, he paid 24 quid, and it even included the turntable, the matching NAD turntable was with it, and he never took the turntable. He told him he didn't want the turntable because he didn't play records. And when he told me, I said to him, I said, well, why didn't you take the turntable? I said, I'm going to want that when I get it off you. He says, who says you're getting it? Anyway, it did eventually, found its way to me. And I was really disappointed that he'd left the turntable. I mean, it was part of the set. I mean, I would have taken it, whether I play records or not. I mean, I do, but, you know, I think, you know, the moral of the story is, if you walk into a charity shop and you see some quality equipment, like this sort of stuff, and there's a turntable, I mean, most people would take the turntable now because they can flog it on eBay. But the point is, if there's a turntable, you take the turntable because it's part of the set. I would have done. And he didn't because he had no records. He had no use for it. And I'm surprised he never thought I might have wanted it or even give him a couple of quid for it. You know, if he'd got the turntable and didn't want it, I'd have bought it off him. You know. But anyway, he never thought at the time of purchasing, and so they probably got another fiver or another tenner for the turntable off someone at the charity shop. But for what he got, it was a bargain. I mean, I couldn't believe it when he told me that. I says, "Are you sure?" He says, "Yeah, NAD." I said, "You're joking." He says, "No." I couldn't believe what he got for 24 quid. And I think he even had a pair of speakers as well. I'm not sure what the speakers were, but he even had a pair of speakers with it, 24 quid. And he left the turntable, I couldn't believe it. He's passed away now, my mate Steve. And in all honesty, I'm not going to go all sentimental here, but I do miss him. Really do miss him. We used to have a right laugh. But, you know, it's one of those things, innit? But yeah, I fancy him not taking the bloody turntable. Yeah. I'll not forgive you for that, Steve. Honestly, I'll not forgive you for that. Anyway. Anyway, folks. Listen. Thank you very much for watching. And I will do my best to post a link to where I got the manual from. Because the manual was free. I got the Amplifier last night and I downloaded the Amplifier. Wouldn't it be good if you could download one? Or even, download the picture to your 3D printer and get an amp. That'd be ideal, wouldn't it? If you could just download, if you could just click on the picture on Google of what you wanted and send it to your 3D printer. Yeah, that'd be ideal, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What would you 3D print? If you could 3D print, if you could select an image off the internet and 3D print it and actually have that item 3D print and be perfectly real and usable, what would you, what would you, I don't know. I think I'd 3D print a woman. Oh, no, I wouldn't want to give myself that much fucking misery. No, I wouldn't. Yeah. Imagine being able to 3D print a woman. Yeah. No, my luck, I'll 3D print a woman, get a fucking husband, and get my face smashed in. Anyway, folks, yeah, that's an interesting one, that. And I know if you've watched the video all the way to the fucking end, if you leave an answer, leave a comment. But feel free to comment. What would you 3D, if you could 3D print something, if you could select an image off the internet, 3D print it, and it came out and it was a real thing, what would you 3D print? But you could only have one item. You can't, you can only do it once. What would you 3D print? I think most people would say a woman, but I wouldn't 3D print a woman. I mean, you can't get a woman anywhere pretty much, can't you? It's not like it's not like they're scarce. I don't know. I think I think I'd 3D print myself a pair of quads, good quality valve quads, quad amps and the tuners and stuff to go with it. You know, whatever was in the picture. You know, I'd 3D print the whole thing, get myself a couple of quads with the preamps. Nice valve quads with the preamps. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. I think that's what I'd print if I could do it. But yeah, let me know. It's an interesting one, that, isn't it? If you could 3D print something, and if you could just select an image and you actually could end up with the item, what would you have? What would you have? I might put that on Facebook. I know most people are going to say a woman, but yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching, and I know this has been a short one on the video and a short one on the amp as such, and we haven't really had the chance to dip the soldering iron in tonight, but don't worry about it. There'll be more occasions where there'll be more opportunities for that. I mean, I believe in the philosophy, if it ain't broken, don't mend it, so I ain't doing nothing with it. I've just checked to make sure that all the voltages are how they should be, and everything's as it should be, and it apparently appears to be so, and there's nothing abnormal, so, well, apart from myself, and that's it, folks. The amplifier, as far as I'm concerned, is done. But I won't. I'll have to wait until I get what I really need to do, you know, is I need to actually get hold of a record deck. I need to buy. I'm going to look around eBay actually. Try and buy a record deck, just purely for testing, you know, for plugging into amps. Because I don't unplug my Zero and bring that in, and I haven't got another deck, believe it or not. Well, I have, but they all seem to be fitted into record players. So I think what I need to do is get myself a record deck, just something cheap, something like an Acoustic Solutions, something really horrible, just to plug in, just to check the phono inputs on amplifiers. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. You know, just something cheap and nasty will do. I'll have a fed it round in a bit. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and more to come later. Bye for now.